course, he had a parent-teacher conference. I found out about it at the last minute, and I chose not to go purposely. And it's because I want to have a conference of my own as a teacher. And because the last time I went and had a conference of my own, I found out a whole lot more than I would have if she would have been with me. And one of the tactics I told you about was a scare tactic towards her to get her to force her to help her child who is homeless. You know, they named Quarles Quarrelers, but they should have named her Quarrel or something. That's all she wanted to do is keep up on the down low, because she was homeless. Mm. And today she's going to tell me, going to try to dictate to me first uh, everything that's going on with Malachi and not allow me to speak. Just want to say what the teacher said, like if it was or huh? I did it twice, but it wasn't doing any good, and I knew it wasn't received. So I just listened. And at the end of the conversation, you need to talk to him. And I got smart. I said, tell her call me this week. I was telling him to call me this week. I said, but we ain't discussing none of that. And she was looking for a rebuttal. I'm not discussing that in front of you. When I talk to my son, uh, and I'm like, this is beating a dead horse. I didn't catch him in the act. So I'm gonna sit there and yell at him. And then after that, I talked with Monique about it, and she said, you just want to set the bar this time. I mean, sometimes you can go home and play on Friday, but you're going to get behind up Saturday morning to schoolwork. Until they do Saturday, it's going to be this way. And the same thing Sunday. She said it's going to be a sacrifice for you. I know you're tired. You're going to get up next Sunday all over again. You know? And then go on to church. She said you ain't going to get nothing out of him in the evening. She said make him go to bed tonight. Until he can get tired, he ain't going to have a purpose. And I don't need to tell her none of that because I came up in the house and she and her mama, but listen, in the background, I feel like her mama told her what to tell her to do. Um, we can pull up the news on WAFB Live for 12 o'clock. I just want to see if all this stuff hit the news. Um, if you want, you can use that share link and I'll put it up on the screen. If you just find it and connect the share link. I'll be right back. I'm going to run across the hall, make sure some more people got paid. That's all we do. How are you, man? Good. This meeting, I'm sure is going to be running late, just in case you had any. Hey, what happened? The governor came this morning, and that's what we're putting up on the screen now. We want to see the news. He gave me $10 million to fix the area back there by the state, and that was the pressure now. And they're delayed because they're going to way out.
Good morning, everybody. It's Wednesday, 5:23 on the clock, and we're looking at our interactive drive time map. Pull it out, kind of zoom out a little bit. Going to Ascension Parish, we're looking at a decent flow of traffic on the interstate. Highway 30, there's the Tanger Mall outlet right there. A little bit of traffic on Highway 30 between the mall and folks going down toward the Geisler area on Highway 30. 74 getting into the action for this tiny bit of green traffic right in that area, as well as 73. The interstate looks good all the way into East Factory Turn. Not a problem at all to getting your way coming in, and visibility looks pretty good. Here's our camera shot, live DOT of I-10 near the Tanger Mall. Tanger Mall is the longest traffic on that side, and Highway 73 at Curryville, and all the way into the Baton Rouge area, the 110 anything right into the Basin Bridge, not bad. Traffic report sponsored by Marybird Perkins, Our Lady of the Lake Cancer Center, where you know early detection is key. Free breast cancer screening office during September, all through Baton Rouge. Log on for more details. 5:24, we'll be right back.
I didn't see the board chairs far down there. So the board has some people all around the chair.
My favorite time right now, and how about this? What's it again? The new view for Hurricane Maria, the International Space Station, capturing this has been now category 4. About 155 miles an hour right now, and that is going to be absolutely catastrophic. Just some of the islands, a lot of this. Ronnie, what do you see? Yeah, man.
Having a little, Mr. Queer, how you doing?
Go to some video right now in Puerto Rico. This is near San Juan. You see just the strong winds coming up on the screen right now. Rain coming down. Just a lot of strength from this storm. Thousands of people have evacuated from Puerto Rico because of this. And now the
Question's gonna leave.
that lifestyle I was talking about earlier. You see that it's
weird. You know, he's not here to talk about this subject, but I would just mention that he would tell me, don't say a word, and I'm gonna do it anyway.
I live for it.
I refuse to speak at COEs people ask me pointed questions.
Yeah. And so
How do you
everyone's at the
handle
house,
this?
they're coming over right now.
How do you handle this? You know, I've had that problem.
Well, see, at least with your issue, I could say, I don't have a problem talking about this because I don't represent anyone. I can just talk about it from the perspective of someone who's talking to.
Part of the issue right now is freedom of speech. How do you deal with employees make statements related to their employment on social media? They claim that they're a private person. You're a cook in the cafeteria. Post how terrible the food is, and it's your job to make sure the food is good and not be disciplined. But it's a real issue because you're getting fired.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah. But it,
Burden's on you to say that it's freedom of speech, but we're just saying that you publicly admitted that you produced bad food.
you should be surprised if
John Spain, it's been a long time. You're doing very well. How are you? How's your wife?
Yes, sir. How you
Dr.
doing?
Davis, how you doing?
Good. Good to have you. Good to have you working with us.
Well. Come up, get it there. I just wonder what kind of shot you get.
Where is your in the internet working? Totally completely different. Let me say, why do you people none of that is correct. Hey, I tell them,
Good luck with that, huh?
I said, I'm just praying for the kids. That's all. And all I can do is say a prayer.
Well,
You know that we want to another business.
Oh, gotta keep going. That's it.
Oh, and by the way, also on that battery.
how you doing?
You have my card.
By Representative Clark, Treasurer.
Oh,
Oh, yeah, my kids over the left.
Off the bedtime.
Good to see you.
CCA with the fine.
Yes.
We have
You gonna say all those young things.
29 years.
Don't take all of it. Hey man, how are you? Looking good.
Really good to see you.
Hi, Leon Tarver.
Lauren Jimaville.
Good to see you. Yeah.
Yeah, I hadn't seen
Not
you.
across the river, huh?
No,
Oh, a different family.
I haven't seen you forever.
No, it has been a while. It certainly has. Wow, but it's good to be seen.
Well,
I told
get
someone
that.
I've been going to a lot of funerals lately and memorial services.
But anyway, I tell Elaine you asked about it.
Where is
Family doing well.
Everybody's doing great. Thank you. Appreciate it. Good
Just
to see
great
you.
to have you here.
Well, and
Long time coming,
let
but
us know about the North, that North End.
Yeah.
We took the bus tour.
You took the bus tour?
And you're gonna hire an executive director, you're gonna hire your interim, and he wants the job?
He wants the job. We can't pay him very much.
Well, you don't have a lot.
We don't have a lot. So I think that's when the board will go over that. I'm okay with him.
I took that bus ride. My first thought was that area is way too big. I know we made it big in order to have a tax base.
Yeah.
Brett, nice to see you. Thank you.
Lauren Jimaville.
Yeah, we met before. You know, Spain, I think we had lunch at 6 o'clock last time we were
How are
together.
you, Lauren?
Mrs. Spain and Elaine, his wife,
My wife Linda and Elaine have known each other forever.
for years.
Oh, wow.
Way back.
We really do.
We We could go way back to the Jesse Stone days.
Well, yeah, just make you feel like such an outsider. You know, everybody has a
We just been
history
around a
together,
long
you know.
time. We
But you know,
just
you
been
bring
around
some
long
new views and fresh air too. You know?
See, he knows how to put those words in and make you feel all right. Now everything's okay, just explain.
No, leadership is important, and we're glad to have it.
Well, thank you, Lord.
But we like the business. I like the business.
Well, let's catch up.
Get your perspective on it.
Well, I just, you know, y'all went way out there, share with cars everywhere. You know, I know you need a big footprint, but what I started looking is how much can you do?
Well, I think the tax rate in the hotel.
Yeah, and that's, you have to have it big enough to generate enough money. And, but
That's the thing. We'll look at it. I think they're going to need just the boundary lines in the next session.
and I think if you get some work done, people understand what you're doing, and you can get more money.
Right. You know the provost here?
Yes, absolutely.
I'll offer an invocation. May we all assume an attitude of prayer. Eternal, all-wise Father, we thank you, dear God, for another wonderful day you've created. We thank you for the gift of life, friends, and fellowship. We ask that you add a special blessing upon this meeting. Might the business we discuss here glorify your kingdom both on earth and in heaven. We lift up these prayers and partitions in the mighty name of your Son, Jesus. Amen.
Amen.
Mr. President, provide us with a roll call.
Yes. Mr. Harrell,
Present.
Attorney Castillo. Here. Tony Clayton, Reverend Henry, Attorney Rutledge, Dr. Whitfield, Dr. Tarver, Mrs. Smith, and myself. You have a quorum.
Thank you, Mr. President. All right, I'll entertain a motion to adopt the agenda.
It's been properly moved and second. All those in favor? All those opposed? All right. Public comments at this time. Are there any public comments? Are there any public comments? Hearing none, I will move on to item 5 and item 6 and entertain a motion in globo to approve the minutes from the June 14th meeting and the July 20th meeting.
So moved, Mr. Chair.
It's been properly moved in second. All those in favor? All those opposed? Motion carries. I am at this time going to turn the meeting over to our Vice Chair, Attorney Preston Castile, to review.
Sure. Thank you, Mr. Harrell. The first item under discussion items is our August 20th SUBR Master Plan Imagine 20,000 kickoff meeting, which we, of course, had a few weeks ago. It was fantastic, greatly attended. We had all of our college deans, our provost present, and we had our consulting firm, Marga, there as well. Great engagement and discussion. We have our provost, Dr. Young, who is here, and I'd like for her, if you don't mind, Dr. Young, to give us a recap from your perspective from the meeting, from the administration side about that meeting and how it went. It's a great discussion over at the Baton Rouge Area Foundation.
Mm-hmm. Good afternoon, Madam Chair Smith, President Belton, Chair, you're not Henry, but you are. Vice Chair Castile, thank you very much for the opportunity to provide comments about the meeting that was held several weeks ago. It's actually on the day when Southern was closed due to the hurricane. Weather was very bad, but the attendance at the meeting was exceptionally good. Very, very good meeting, a great discussion among those present. We had representatives from every college, in addition to several representatives from the Office of the Academic Affairs Sector, and centered around our strengths, some challenges, and how to overcome those challenges. But I think all of us left with a sense of hope as we look forward to continued discussions on how to strengthen Southern University, not only to serve our internal community, but to be a resource for the North Baton Rouge community. So it was a great meeting, and we're appreciative of the opportunity.
I understand, Dr. Young, that we also had the director of the lab school to attend as well.
That's right.
And the idea is not a dean, but there is also a piece to the Imagine 20,000 project that involves our laboratory school, and I understand that he was invited to participate as well.
Yes, he was invited. He did attend. Very excited about the opportunity to be among the academic deans. And as a matter of fact, the consultant visited with the lab school several days last week.
Okay.
So as I understand it, it was a very good meeting, and he gained a lot of good information that will be reflected in a report.
Great. Any other questions, comments with regard to item A, the actual kickoff meeting? Mr. Harrell?
There's a copy of the agenda in your packet for the committee members, and you'll see the information that was covered. In terms of getting feedback from the deans and the task force chairs about the interviews as well as stakeholder engagement process and how that would work. I do want to recognize, and I saw them in the audience when I walked in, Mr. John Spain and Lauren from the Baton Rouge. I'm sorry. Oh, sorry. From the Baton Rouge Area Foundation. The Baton Rouge Area Foundation has provided us with support for this endeavor, and I wanted to acknowledge their support in their attendance at the meeting today.
Thank you very much.
All right. Mr. Castile, you can move ahead on with item B if you would like to, if there are no questions about discussion item number A.
Sure. Let me just say, and again, thank the Baton Rouge Area Foundation not only for hosting us, but for their incredible support for this project, most importantly, their financial support for this project, which is greatly appreciated. If you flip over in your package, you will see behind the agenda from our August 30th meeting that we held, there's also the leadership team, and that's significant because one of the items that we talked about during that meeting is the composition of these various task forces. And I think that's critical because we paused while we made a great, I think, presentation to the Baton Rouge Area Foundation in terms of a conceptual plan of what this might look like. That was really a pitch. At the end of the day, in terms of ultimately what the master plan will look like, that will come from the stakeholders with the university. Of course, the administration, the task forces that are being led by the deans. Dr. Tarver, it was not lost on the committee when we met to ensure that there is appropriate faculty representation, as Dr. Bagayoko mentioned before and you urged, as well as student and alumni participation. So you will see the specific list of those persons who will be leading from a leadership perspective those task forces, and they have committed to assemble the appropriate task force with that representation. And I think we're off to a good start. My understanding is that not only as it relates to the lab school that the consultants have begun to reach out, but they're beginning that process of not only populating the committee, but gathering information. Now, Mr. President, I think what's going to be incredibly crucial, of course, in developing a master plan is getting good information in. Now, we obviously have some departments, colleges that are pretty far along the way, and we've heard that discussion. So in some respects, we've got some groups that are sort of maybe starting a little bit anew, but not many, because there's obviously some very good work that's been going along for quite a long time that's being incorporated. But the ability to pull all that together, which we're counting on Marga to be able to do, such that the finished product in terms of the plan is representative of the collective thought of this institution and all that are involved, so that when we agree upon a good product that we can ultimately deliver down the road. So you've had an opportunity, as I've talked, to look through the leadership team that we've put together. Are there any additional thoughts, because they're about to begin their work in earnest in terms of that makeup, or is there anything else that we should be doing? Now, one thing I'll mention to sort of jar your memory, if you look back through the minutes, we had a discussion about student, faculty, alumni representation, and we thought that by weaving those into the various task forces and then appropriately populating your committee as chancellor, that we can accomplish that goal, and we think that will be a successful model. Is everyone still in agreement with that, Mr. President?
Yes. And if I may add, I've had the occasion to engage with a number of individuals who are represented as members of the task force. And quite frankly, those encounters have given me clear indication that faculty, staff are very grateful for the opportunity to participate and to offer their feedback as relates to shaping what they believe to be the future of Southern University. Of course, this initiative speaks to shaping a facilities master plan, but the degree to which we shape the capital environment of Southern University, it largely depends on how we perceive the university moving forward. And so those inputs are critical. I'm just very pleased that the degree to which the university has bought in and accepted the responsibility for offering their inputs as it relates to this initiative.
Great.
Just a thought.
Great. Thank you, Mr. President. The next item on the agenda is task force meeting schedule and scope of work. Now, you'll notice behind your packets with the leadership team is a document that Marga Inc., our consulting firm, has provided. And so we have a schedule in place. So this is particularly important in terms of next steps, so we can see the next steps that are planned. We've got the first meeting that will take place, which is an information gathering meeting. It's the first round of task force meetings that'll take place in next month, during next month, and I think that'll be a great part of the process. And then, of course, in November, we're going to have our program design meetings that, again, Marga Inc. will lead. You'll see the time options that Marga has put together to begin the engagement of the task forces, and again, we expect them to begin in earnest. Dr. Belton, at our last meeting, we had a discussion about the possibility of a medical component. We looked into this Howell Place facility, and you actually participated in. So we've had a discussion on that. And just to kind of close the loop on that discussion, would you mind giving us an update on how that went and where we are in the process?
Yes. So as you could well attest, there's been several tours of that facility. The first was one that where the College of Allied Health and Nursing actually participated in, and I think there was a cadre of faculty who went through the facility, and the feedback I got was one of great possibilities. I as well, and thanks to you, members of the leadership team, and I was taken on a tour of the facility. It's a wonderful facility. I think there's just considerable promise in terms of possibilities, you know, particularly in keeping with our aim to really, and we've talked about this to some degree, to really establish a niche for health care professions in light of the fact that those professions represent 4- and 5-star jobs. And so that really commanded my interest in examining that facility, and although that interest persists at this point in time, I've asked Attorney Castillo to I gave him indication that the university is not prepared to move forward at this time in terms of exploring a lease arrangement, nor trying to acquire the building in light of limited resources at this time.
Great. Okay. Thank you, Dr. Belton. Anything else as it relates to items 6A, B, or C? And I think as we go through this process, other opportunities will come available. Obviously, that's what the process is designed to do, for us to all to take a look at and then hopefully make some decisions. Dr. Young?
Yes, before we close, I'd just like to speak to one opportunity that I believe is a direct outcome of our support from BRAF by way of Mr. Spann and his staff. Recently, we were invited to BRAF to talk about an opportunity to offer a master's degree in Board Certified Behavioral Analysis. BAPA is the acronym. And I believe that it was a direct outcome of this current relationship and the support that we're receiving from BRAF. So we are in the process of continued collaborations and communications with the Emerge Center near LSU, which is a center that assists students with various forms of autism. One of the most impressive centers that I have seen in my time in education. So if you have the opportunity to visit, you should definitely do so. But in collaboration with the Emerge Center and offering a BAPA master's degree at Southern University. So we are very excited about that opportunity. We were informed that currently Florida and Texas produce about 5,000 annually, but the state of Louisiana only produces 200. So just imagine the opportunity to increase that number from 200 to 2,000 as we imagine 20,000. So I'm very excited about that opportunity, and we do thank Mr. Spann and BRAF for the support.
You mentioned, Dr. Young, Imagine 20,000. Of course, the goal of this project is that we're imagining 20,000 students over the next 15 years. How are things coming along with enrollment this semester?
Yeah,
Some
I think
good
we are
numbers.
poised to report our enrollment today, but I think our fall enrollment will reflect the increase. I think it's going to be around 3%, but hopefully we'll be more definitive later on today.
Excellent. Great. There are no action items on the agenda. The next item is number 7. Is there any other business to come before the committee? All right. In keeping with Mr. Harrell's great track record of keeping our meeting short, I think that brings us to item 9. Entertain a motion to adjourn.
I so move.
We are adjourned.
Okay.
All right. Thank you,
Thank
folks.
you.
Mhm.